welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I would like to welcome you each into our kitchen this early afternoon where, yes, I'm running a little behind on making this video, but it's still going to post regardless. I am going to show you how to make your own homemade corned beef from scratch, from brisket to corned beef. Now, I was blessed to be able to get a big, beautiful slab of brisket, and I'm going to cut it in half. So I have two 5-pound briskets. Now, one is going to be a 4-day brine because I'm having it on Irish Day regardless. No, I don't celebrate St. Patrick. I celebrate my Irish heritage. And I'm going to let the second one brine for the 7 days. It can be from 4 to 7 days, but it's best to do 5 to 7. With that being said, let's get busy having some fun brining some beautiful beef brisket. Now, I know a lot of people are going to go wild about the salt content. You are brining 10 pounds, or it will be a 5-pound piece, or whichever size you brine. It takes salt to cure meat. Now, one thing I am not using in my recipe is I do not use what's called pink salt, not the Himalayan salt, but the nitrates. I do not brine or use nitrates when I make my corned beef, my sausages, or anything like that, because it is just not good for you, and it will send Junior's blood pressure out the roof. Now, I will be making my version of more traditional corned beef seasonings to make a brine, and then we're going to heat that up. I'll go along with you. Now, in this cup, I have 5 tablespoons of caraway seeds. Now, this pot has 2 gallons of water in it. You can use tap water if you have to, or purified water, distilled water, or Berkey water, whichever water you want. Or if you're lucky enough to have well water that doesn't have all that contamination in it, you can use that. And like I said, 2 gallons of water. Now, since I'm not using the pink salt, the nitrate, I am going to use a half a cup of pink Himalayan salt. It'll color the brine a little bit. But we're not going to miss those nitrates. And it's the nitrates that make everybody so sick. Headaches, stomach aches, high blood pressure. Yeah, start eating nitrate free. And that was a half a cup of the pink Himalayan salt. And I'm going to use, yes, it's brining, y'all, a lot of salt. I'm using a cup of coarse sea salt. And as you can see, it's beautiful, coarse sea salt. And if you want to, you could use kosher salt. I prefer the sea salt. Okay, now I'm going to be using first the seasonings, putting them in the pot. That does not have to be ground or used a mortar and pestle to grind up. You can also use like a coffee grinder. Make sure it's perfectly clean, and you just want to pulse them. You want to break the bigger ones up just a little bit. Now I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of celery seed. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to be honest with you. all this batch of seasoning is going into the pot. I'm going to be making a second batch of this later, and I'm going to make it just a little finer. That way I can add it to the cooking liquid. And yes, I have dill seeds. Move my coffee. I want 2 tablespoons of dill. And that is dill seeds, not dill weed. And I will have the ingredients in the description box below that I use. Okay, I think that's all the little ones. Mustard, yellow mustard, I'm not going to worry about crushing that up because it will release its flavor, crushed or not. Oh, it smells good. I want 8 tablespoons. Yeah, you heard me. Of yellow mustard seed. Now, for those who have diverticulosis or problems digesting seed forms, this is just in the brine. Once it's brined, you're going to wash or rinse the meat off real good. But when you go to cook it, you can powder up these seasonings. It won't hurt them a bit. Okay, now, mortar and pestle time, y'all. I want 8 bay leaves. And if your leaves are small, just throw in a couple of extra. It's not going to hurt anything. Forget it. I'm just going to break them up with my fingers. Because this is the brine. It don't have to be ground up real good. You just want them in small pieces. Sometimes mortar and pestle is good. Sometimes you can do it better with your fingers. Okay. Coriander seeds. I want 3. Oh, haha. Missed one. I want 3 tablespoons. Now you can crush them. Well, I'm just going to break them up a little bit. I'm not going to crush them. Now, if you only have powder, that's fine. Like I said, 3 tablespoons. Oh, those smell good, y'all. Anything jumps out, just go and put it in the pot. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, next. Now, this is going to be the fun one. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon at a time. I'm going to end up using 2 tablespoons of allspice. And like I said, you're not trying to make them into a powder. You're just breaking them up a little bit. Oh, those smell so good. That was 1 tablespoon. Here goes the second tablespoon. Somebody jump ship. Into the pot it goes. Like I said, you're not trying to powder them. You're just breaking them open a little bit. Okay. Black pepper. I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of black pepper. If you want to, you can do more. Just remember, black pepper can get really hot, spicy wise. And this is the kind of corned beef I was raised with. I've seen a lot of recipes that have cinnamon and star anise and so many cloves and stuff. No, that's not the corned beef I was raised with. Oh, this black pepper smells good, y'all. Okay. Let me get a spoon. Okay. I got everything swimming in the pot. Now, what you're going to need, not this, but you're going to need a food-safe tub. I have an old one. I finally found a lid that would fit it. The lid doesn't match the tub, but I don't care. You want a food-safe plastic tub to brine with. Now, if you have a crock, you can use that, but you're going to need something that's going to fit into your refrigerator. If you have, personally, if I have to take a shelf down, I will do it in a heartbeat to make corned beef. All right, now, what you want to do now is put this on your stove. Heat it just until all the salt is dissolved. Once the salt is completely dissolved, turn your heat off, let it come back down to room temperature, and you're going to chill it. You want to make sure your brine's cold. But you want to make sure that your brine has cooled down before we go to put it on the meat. And I'll see you back here once the brine is heated up and cooled down. See you after a while. The brine has cooled down in the pot here, and I have cut the beautiful 10 pounds of brisket. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Now, yes, I am leaving the fat on it because that is flavor, y'all. That is flavor. Now, when you go to cook it, yes, you can trim some of it off. but you want to leave that delicious fat on there. Now, I'm going to go on and put them in the tub here. Now, you want to make sure that you have food grade plastic tub. Alright, I'm going to move this cutting board. I'll be right back. Yes, to brine your brisket in, if you got enough room or it's still cold where you're at, you can use a 5-gallon bucket. If it's staying cold enough outside, you can stick the bucket on your porch, or, like I said, move a shelf in your fridge and make room for it, because this is corned beef. Now, I wanted to say I made a measuring mistake, and I want to correct it. When I took the brine pot to the stove, as it was warming up, I could tell something was off. I got to remembering I'm doubling the brine, and I only used 1 cup of the coarse sea salt. I had to add another cup because I'm making a double brine. I'll have the correct measurements for the brine in the description box below, because I'll be putting the single brine recipe that works for 5 pounds of corned beef. And like I said, this is 10 pounds of beef brisket. So, now comes the fun part. Getting the brine into the... Oh man, it smells so good, y'all. Now, you got to remember, clean that pan out of all those spices, because you want all of that in that brine, because that's going to be flavoring the meat. Waste not, want not. And like I said, one of these 5-pound briskets, which will be corned beef, I will be using for Irish Day on Monday. The other one, I'm going to let it brine for 7 days. The one for Irish Day, only going to get to brine for 4, but that's still going to be plenty. 7 days is what you really actually want. Now, I'll tell you, since I'm not using the nitrates, which is so bad for you, that's another reason why I use the pink Himalayan salt, because it'll color the meat a little bit. Now, if you're wanting that dark red of good corned beef, another trick is you can throw a couple of beets in with it while it cooks. Alright, give me just a minute. I'll be right back. I don't know if you can see, but the brisket is floating. You do not want it to be any of it above the brine. So use a plate, something, I would use glass, something heavy enough to keep that brisket down under that brine. And you're going to want to check it every day. Now, you want this in the refrigerator so it can stay cool. Now, if you're somewhere where it's cold still, you can put it in a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. I'm going to put the lid on this one. Yes, this tub is food grade plastic. I bought it at a restaurant supply store, and I double checked, made sure, yes, it is food grade. The lid that I finally found a lid for it that would fit. Might not be food grade, but the food's not going to touch the lid at all. Now, I'm going to take one of the briskets out in 4 days. I'm going to let it brine for 4 days. The second brisket, I will take that out on the 7-day mark. You won't see that one because I'll show you what to do with the... Oh, y'all, it smells so good. Oh, it smells so good, just like old-fashioned corned beef should. Alright, I'm going to put the lid on this. I'm going to get it in the fridge, and I will bring you back in 4 days. Also, what I wanted to say. Now, some people will put the brisket in a large food grade Ziploc bag and pour the brine in it. You could do it that way, but it's so much better when you have a food safe tub or a small like bucket to do it in, because you want it to have room and you want to get absolutely as much brine as you possibly can. Now, do not worry, it's going to change color because of the salt content. And like I said, this is being brined without any nitrates. So, yes, it's going to be better. It's going to be a whole lot better. And we don't have to worry about Junior getting sick, having a headache, blood pressure spike, or anything. All natural. Alright, I'll bring y'all back in 4 days' time. See y'all at the wall. Okay, it has been 4 days. It is time to work on what is going to be corned beef. Now, the other piece of a 5-pound piece of brisket is still in the brine. It's got 3 more days to go and it'll be brined like it's supposed to. And I'm going to can that up. I'll bring y'all along for that one. This one, it's good to brine it for 5 to 7 days. 7, preferably 5 is good. I'm working with 4 because I'm having it for Irish Day tomorrow. So let's get busy trimming a little of this fat off and getting it in the crock-pot. See you here. Okay, I have rinsed it pretty well. I missed a few things here and there. It's not going to hurt anything. But I want to trim this slimy fat off. Without taking any meat, if possible. Now I'm going to leave some of the fat on there because that's flavor. It'll keep your corned beef juicy. Now I have rinsed it off pretty good. No, I didn't use no soap. Just use cold water, y'all. There's not much fat on this side. Oh, that is going to be so good, y'all. Alright, now I'm going to put this in the crock pot, just like that. I'm going to clean my mess up, wash my hands, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm just going to add seasoning to it, the same seasoning that it brined in, just smaller amounts, and garlic powder. I did not use garlic in the brine, so I'm going to add garlic powder now. About a tablespoon. Now, I washed my hands very well. Make sure you do too. That way you don't put meat juice all over your um, spice containers. Now, I used yellow mustard seed in the brine. I'm going to use mustard powder, about a teaspoon. Now, if you wanted to, it's going to be basically the same ingredients that was in the brine. Everything else you can powder all up together and just use a spoonful here and there. Now, some of my seasonings, I the caraway seeds, the dill seeds, and the celery seeds. I leave those whole because I like them and I eat them. So I got a tablespoon of caraway seeds. I didn't want to bring the big jug up, so I got a tablespoon of celery seeds. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. And I'm going to have a tablespoon of dill seeds. Now, it is dill seeds. It is not the dill weed. It's not the green tops. It's the seeds. Oh, that smells so good. Good God, they should have never picked that. Oh, what the heck. We use an extra one for the pot. Alright, it's going to be 5 bay leaves, dried bay leaves. I'm going to put them in whole. That way I can pull them out before we eat. Oh, and I want about a tablespoon of a teaspoon of coriander powder. Now this is a 5-pound piece of what was brisket. That's a tablespoon of black pepper. Last but not least, now these I can pick out. This is whole allspice. I'm going to do about a tablespoon. Those I can scoop out in the morning. Now I'm starting this. You're going to want to cook this overnight and most of the next day. Good. You want to cook it until it's tender. Now, let me go get some water and I'll bring y'all right back. Okay, I got about a gallon of water. I might not need all of it. I just want to make sure that it's completely covered. Now, I'm going to cook it overnight. And I'll check it every once in a while before we go to bed. That's heavy, y'all. Now, I'm going to cook it on high till I get ready to go to bed, which will be a while. And I'll cut it on low, let it cook overnight. In the morning, I have not added any salt. Don't add any salt. It should have plenty. I will check it in the morning for taste. I will taste the, the cooking liquid and see if I need to adjust my spices any. About noon tomorrow, I will add, now I'm just going to keep it on high overnight because it's a big corned beef, and I'll check it in the morning after I get up, taste the cooking liquid, see if it needs seasoning adjusted or not. Might need to add a little more, and I'll put the lid back on, let it cook for 3 or 4 more hours, and then I'll put the cabbage. Well, in the morning I'll put the baby carrots in because them things take forever to cook. And then tomorrow you'll see it today. I'll put in a head of cabbage and let that all cook together. Simple, easy, homemade. Now, you won't get to see the finished product because, well, this video posts in the morning. I will do a short when this is done completely. The brisket and the cabbage and the carrots are completely done. Now, me and Junior are going to have a happy Irish day today. We're going to pair this with some homemade colcannon. If you're Irish, you should know what colcannon is. And we're going to have a very, very good dinner with a bunch of leftovers, which I'm fine with. We'll eat on that for a while. And we'll have plenty of corned beef left over to make corned beef hash and everything. Now, the second piece of brisket, letting that marinate or brine for 3 more days. I've talked it over with Junior. I'm going to can the second piece. I will bring y'all back for the canning of the corned beef. Simple, easy. Oh, let me cut it on. Yeah, gotta get to cooking it. Simple, easy, homemade. You know exactly what goes into it. You know the ingredients. You know where you got them from. Oh, and if I haven't said it, I don't know if I said it in the earlier part of the video. I made a mistake mixing up the original brine to brine the corned beef in. Instead of using 1 cup of salt, I needed to use 2 cups of salt. I got that fixed because I knew when I tasted the brine something didn't taste right. Once I added the 2nd cup in, it tasted fine. So just trying to remember single batches, double batches, and so on. I was focusing on a single batch at that time. Simple, easy, homemade. Make your ancestors proud of you, because I guarantee you they would enjoy this corned beef as well. And it can be used for so many different things, y'all. Listen, you don't just have to eat corned beef 1 time a year. That's That's blasphemy. You can eat it several times a year, many times a year. Me and Junior love corned beef, especially corned beef hash. Simple, easy, homemade. All information will be in the description box below the video. Now I will put the single batch brine recipe. You can double it, you can triple it. As long as you keep the numbers correct, you can make as many batches as you need to. Now do not, once you're done brining your brisket to make corned beef, dump your brine out somewhere outside, nowhere near your plants, because you don't want to use that brine for nothing else. It's a one-time use brine. Dump it out. Just don't dump it on some grass where you want to kill it. Yes, because of the salt content. Don't dump it around any plants you want to keep. But do not reuse the brine. Do not use the brine to cook in. Do not use the brine to can in. No. As you saw, I started with fresh spices just to oomph up the flavor. Simple, easy. This house is going to be smelling so good by morning time. And by tomorrow night, we're going to be happy as can be. And our ancestors are going to be smiling down upon us. Everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it encourages you to make your own nitrate-free corned beef. It's not hard to do. Yes, I know prices are ridiculous, but I caught this brisket on such a good sale. No, it was not clearance. This was on sale, came from a butcher shop. And yep, I snagged a big piece of it because I've been wanting to make corned beef for a while. I just apologize that I had to do it quick and fast. But hey, it's still going to end up being good, y'all. Everyone, continue to stock up your pantry with foods that will nourish and sustain you, medicinals that will heal you, protection of all kinds, and above all else, the bare essentials to survive on. Everyone, take care. My heart and prayers go out to everyone in these last 2 days of storms. It was horrible, y'all. The destruction and the death. Y'all are all in my prayers. Everyone, take care, stay safe and sound, and may you each be blessed. Hoot, hoot. Mwah. Love y'all. I'll see you soon.